Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bytes Whiskey Reviews with a Gaming Twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. This one I am incredibly excited for because I am trying one of my favorite brands of bourbon all the way through small batch, everyday release, to these exclusive single barrels, including the 15-year-old that just came out this year. So it should be a fantastic time. I'm very, very excited for it. If you don't enjoy it, at least I will. But those of you that are watching live, feel free to say hello in the chat. It's good to see you. Those of you watching the replay, feel free to leave a comment at any point during this video. I will be checking them. I will be responding to them. And I will just be always happy to discuss bourbon with you guys. So tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to start through the small batch. We're going to go to a barrel proof version of Elijah Craig. We're going to do the 15-year Elijah Craig single barrel and the 18-year single barrel Elijah Craig. So we got the full lineup here of their bourbons. The only one I guess that I thought about getting, but I was like, it's a little bit different. I didn't get the toasted bourbon because I felt like, let's stick to just straight bourbon whiskey. Let's not add anything weird, no weird finishes. Let's just go full-on Elijah Craig through the ages flight. And we're going to compare them. We're going to see which one is the best bang for your buck, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. And we're also going to be talking about this new 15-year release, giving it a full, thorough review, and finding out, is it the new king of Elijah Craig? We'll find out. But it'll be a first impression for me. I've not even cracked the bottle yet, so I'm very, very excited. Of course, I've had all the other ones before, but never in a lineup quite like this. So if you are ready for an exciting, fun, different kind of stream, hit the thumbs up. It does mean a lot whether you're watching live or the replay. Just helps bring those views in. By the way, you may have noticed I've been posting a lot more YouTube shorts lately. I've been trying to get in the habit of posting like one a day-ish. So if you came here from the YouTube shorts and you're watching this either live or watching the replay, let me know. I'd love to know if those are actually working to bring in some new people. I love to see new faces. I love all the familiar faces here in the chat, but I also love to see new people showing up and chiming in. So whether you are a whiskey newbie or you are a longtime fan of Bourbon Bytes, say hello. I'd love to see you. Speaking of hello, let's say hello to some folks here in the chat. We got Doug from Taste and Sensibility in the chat. Good to see you, Doug. Zopher said it is Thursday, and I am Thursday. I am Thursday. I am Thursday, which is an accent. Yes, me too. I'm very excited to get into this for sure. Tony said, Elijah Craig, I wish I were drinking along with you. Well, you know, you could be unless you're not drinking for a particular reason. But if not, have some water, because it's always good to have some water, especially when you're doing through a flight of whiskeys like this, including the 120 proof barrel strength release. So it can get hot. Matthew Parks in the chat, really want to get my hands on the 15. Me too. And I just got this yesterday. So I'm still very, very excited. I have heard good things overall about the new 15-year single barrel from Elijah Craig, but I want to experience it myself because it's a pretty pricey bottle. I paid about $140 for mine. So we'll see. We'll see how that compares to like a single barrel select of the barrel proof, which was significantly less expensive. But we'll see. We'll see what gets the best bang for the buck here today. Tony said, "Smash that like button." Yes, good to help bring some new people in. Porky Prankster is in the chat. For maybe the first time, your Elijah Craig barrel proof short you did was honest. Thanks. Well, I appreciate that. I thought today was a good day to post that since I was doing some Elijah Craig today. So the short that I put up today was for a different single barrel pick of the barrel proof. This is actually a relatively new one. I just picked it up. I was trying to be like, oh, it's relatively new. I didn't totally just buy this yesterday and drank a good bit of it already. But this is a different single barrel. So we're going to do a different one today. But I'm glad you saw the short. I'm glad to see that those are hopefully bringing some new people in. I'm glad to see new faces in the chat. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Let's talk about Elijah Craig. So again, we're going to start with just the small batch, the everyday sipper Elijah Craig straight bourbon whiskey. Now, this one is the only one we're drinking tonight that's not a single barrel. So they actually used to, if not still do, make single barrel selects of the standard 94 proof Elijah Craig. However, ever since stores could do picks of the barrel strength version, these have all but disappeared. I've not seen any store picks of the 94 proof because everyone wants to do the barrel proof. So this is the only one we're drinking today that's just a small batch and not a single barrel. But I feel like this is something that everyone can get their hands on no matter where you are in your bourbon journey. This is a great buy. Speaking of price, it's really cheap here in Southern California. I get this bottle for about $23, which is crazy for it's not age dated, but we do think it's a blend between 8 to 12 years old. They've never officially said. It used to be a 12-year-old product, but they took that age statement off of it. 94 proof. It is pretty much anywhere you can find bourbon, you're going to find Elijah Craig small batch. It's just a standard shelf bottle. It's from the same distillery that does Evan Williams. If you've seen that, it's a cheaper version. It's still a bourbon. Evan Williams is quite a bit younger, and this is their little bit more elevated version. So Elijah Craig small batch. And a little bit of history for folks that don't know or folks that forget who was Elijah Craig. I wish I knew this off the top of my head. I don't. I'm looking at the Elijah Craig website right now. He was actually a Baptist preacher and an educator. He built the first paper and wool mills in Georgetown, Kentucky. And he's kind of known as the father of bourbon. So he was the first person to use, I believe it was the first person to use new charred oak as an aging mechanism for bourbon. So that's what Elijah Craig is named after. He actually did that back in 1789. So he was the first one to age whiskey in new charred oak barrels, which has now become the standard for bourbon. It's got to be aged in new charred oak barrels. They say that he discovered something great. He continued to refine the barrel charring process, imparting smooth, rich flavor on the spirit that would become known as bourbon. He's still known as the father of bourbon, and we craft our bourbon today using the same time-honored techniques. So I think it's pretty cool that it's a tribute to this guy. One fact that they point out on their website is they say that, he did rely on enslaved people to run his distillery. So they mentioned that in their story, so I'll mention it here as well. But again, this was back in 1789. So just a little bit about the guy. Yeah. So I was just reading his bio here. So, but yeah, that's just, it's a namesake, right? This is not, he didn't actually work for Heaven Hill. He had nothing to do with the brand itself. It is a namesake bottle from the Heaven Hill Distillery, which is one of my favorite distilleries out there. So yeah. Emily says, Elijah Craig, the OG bourbon daddy. Yes, very true. Also, hi, Em. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in tonight. The small batch single barrel picks were usually 12 as well. Oh, are they? I don't even know if they had age statements on them, but they may have. I haven't seen those in forever, so I wouldn't know. I don't know if they all had the 12-year age statement. I feel like that was already after they took that off, but maybe some of them did for sure. Actually, the cheapest Evan Williams has a small percentage of older bourbons. That's why it's my favorite of the shelfers. Yeah. I mean, I think, Evan Williams is definitely nothing to like. I'm not like shaking my finger like, oh no, don't get that. I'm just saying Elijah Craig is kind of the elevated next step. If you like Evan Williams, try Elijah Craig. You're gonna like that next. I can't believe I just wrote. Well, actually, I feel like such a dude. What? I might have missed it. Maybe you deleted it. I don't know. I was like, is it about that? Oh, yeah. Did you have your opinion about Evan Williams? I'm not going to shame. Listen, that's what I love about the bourbon community is we aren't pretentious. We don't judge. We just enjoy good bourbon with good people. And that's what my channel is all about. And hopefully you think so too. All right. So now that we know the history, let's give this Elijah Craig small batch a nose. Yeah. I mean, it's bourbon through and through. It is very corny. It's very sweet. Very much like a just when you think of what a bourbon is, right? It's at least 51% corn. It's pretty obvious that there's some corn whiskey here. Like I said, no age statement, but we think it's between 8 to 12 years old. I don't know if that's a little bit outdated because this does smell a little bit younger than that. It's got a lot of sweetness on it, a lot of that grain quality. Sometimes that comes from just it not being aged that long, which for a $23 bourbon, that's totally fair because we're going to get up in price with each of these. So we're going to talk about what each of these are in terms of age, proof, and price, which is going to be the big factor that that differentiates them. So, but yeah, pretty classic. I always say Evan Williams and Heaven Hill products give a very much a bakery note, not necessarily fresh baked bread, but fresh baked desserts, a little fruity, like some like fruit tarts. Maybe a little bit of like a pie crust. I always get a lot on. So that to me is a signature Heaven Hill note, and this Elijah Craig is no exception. It has that as well. So I like it, but I already know that. Let's go in for a taste of the Elijah Craig small batch bourbon whiskey. Cheers. Yeah. I mean, if you like bourbon, I just spit. If you like bourbon, you're going to like Elijah Craig Small Batch. Like for the price for a $23 bottle of bourbon, to me, it's one of the best value bottles. I'll mention the fact that it's my mom's favorite bourbon, just Elijah Craig Small Batch. Shout out to all the moms out there for Mother's Day coming up soon. But yeah, Elijah Craig is her favorite bourbon. And I think it just hits the sweet spot literally for quite a lot of people. It has those sweeter dessert quality notes, a little bit fruity, but not anything too complex, not anything you really have to think too much about. But it is a step up above some of the lower end bourbons or even American blended whiskeys you see on the shelves, right? This is a bourbon whiskey. We know it's at least 4 years old with it being the straight bourbon whiskey. And yeah, it's a good starting place. It's a great starting place for this flight because we are only going up from here in terms of age and proof, except for one. No, it's still up in proof. We'll see. Actually, I don't have the facts in front of me about that one, but anyways, we're going up in age from here. Daughter Pass Whiskey in the chat. Cheers. Good to see you. I missed some comments earlier here. Let me just go back a little bit. Porky Pranks just said, I have the B525 and it's great. 11 and a half years old. Nice. Yeah, B525. So if you follow my channel for a while, one of my favorite live streams to do every single year is a blind flight of every batched Elijah Craig barrel proof for the year. So A125, B525, and C925. The problem this year is C925 is taking its dang time to get to Southern California. I have one on order. It is shipping from New York City. I don't know when it'll get here, but once it does, I will finally do my Elijah Craig barrel proof flight for all the 2025 batches. I do it blind because I know people love the B525. I'm hearing that across the board, but I'm doing it blind because I want to give an unbiased opinion on which one is my favorite. I do that same thing every year. I'm always surprised by the results. So if you want to see that stream, make sure to come back, hit the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified when I go live. Let's see. Who else? Tony Hawk, I know, right? Sitting on ECBP C922. Nice. Yeah, I don't ever sit on the bottles that long because I drink them too quickly. It's really rare for me to have a thing from a previous year because I just go through them. Yeah. All right. Well, we got our start with the small batch. It's good. No complaints. It's a standard bourbon. I think $23 is a great price. I know it's a little bit pricey in some areas. 30-ish I've seen it go for. But again, just depending on your market, it's a great, I don't want to say entry-level bourbon because I think it's a step up from entry-level. It is a great sipping bourbon and one that's a great one to start your bourbon journey with. So cheers to Elijah Craig Small Batch. But let's keep it rolling. Let's go to the next evolution in the world of Elijah Craig. This has consistently been one of my go-to bourbons. We've been talking about it in the chat already. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It is a barrel strength version of Elijah Craig. So it's coming in straight from the cask. There's no filtering. There's no proofing it down with water. Again, this used to be a 12-year-old product. Now the batches are different ages and the single barrel store picks are different ages as well, but they tell you on the bottle. So like I mentioned, I did a YouTube short earlier today from a single barrel store pick of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I got a different one because I wanted to do something different for tonight's stream. This is a new store pick I just picked up from K&L Wine and Spirits, which is my local whiskey store here in Southern California. They also have some stores in New York City now. So this is a 10-year-old version of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's called Full in the Rain. It's coming in at 120.9 proof. So not the highest proof ECBP, the oldest ECBP. But what we're doing today is we're working our way up in age. So I thought it would be appropriate to have a 10-year-old, the 15-year-old, and then, of course, the 18-year-old at the end of the stream. So pricing on this one, I don't know why, but this was on sale for $52. So, like, that's not normal. These store picks, especially of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, are closer to $70 usually. The batch is probably around the same price, like the A125, B525, and C925. I think I typically see those go for like $65, $70, maybe $80, just depending on the area. but affordable, high proof, high quality bourbon. I think it's always been one of the best deals in bourbon for me. The only thing is once they took away the age statement of 12 years old minimum, it became a little bit less of a good deal to me, which not all the time, right? Like sometimes these are older, they're 10, 12 years old, but sometimes they'll come in at like 9 years old or 8 years old. And I'm like, it's a little high for that. But today we have a 10-year-old 120.9 proof. It's going to be the highest proof thing we drink today, but I want to progress through age versus proof. Donald Rance in the chat. Good evening, Donald Rance. Good to see you. I see a question from Donner Pass. Give me 1 second. Let me get this poured first. Oh, wow. The color on this is so much darker. So just for comparison, the one on, oh, it's actually hard to see on camera. No, the one on my left and your right is the small batch, and the one on my right and your left is the barrel proof, but can't see as much as it looks like right here in front of me. Donner Pass Whiskey with the question. He says, did you see that 36-year-old teaspooned Balvenie for $200 that K&L has had pre-arrival, not getting here till Halloween? I did not, but that sounds like a crazy good deal. I will say I just bought they put up a, shoot, what's that called? They put up a birth year bottle for me, like right in time for my birthday. I think it was Calvados or Calvados, however you pronounce it. French brandy. And it's a birth year bottle. So I had to buy it. I'm like, my birthday is coming up. So I'm really excited to give that a try. I'll probably I don't know if I'll do a podcast episode or what I'll do, because it's not bourbon, but I just was really excited to see a bottle that came out on my birthday. And that one was cheap. I mean, I'm talking like, so just for comparison, so it was a 32-year-old Calvados. It was $100 for a 32-year-old French brandy. It also comes in at a decent proof, 45% ABV. So I'm really excited to give that a try. I'll drop a link to in the chat if y'all are curious. They still have some available, so if anyone wants to pour some with me on my birthday, let me know. I'll share a pour with you. But that's the one I just picked up. I'm really excited to give that a try and see how that is. But I've never owned a birth year bottle of anything, so I'm very excited. But I'm also excited about this Elijah Craig barrel proof. Yes. Man, that is so good. Like I said, this is a brand new crack. It's a brand new barrel pick that I just tried, but it's everything I love about Elijah Craig small batch, just amped up to barrel strength. So, ooh, what happened? I feel like something did something weird on the screen. If we're still here, I think we're still live. We're still live. It's basically older, higher proof, and just to me, just so much more rich on the nose. Yeah, quite a bit of oak. Oh, my camera's like glitching. I don't know if you guys are seeing that. I don't know why that's doing that. Well, let me know. Let me know if you can still see me or hear me. Wow, that's weird. That's never happened. I wonder if my software is doing an update in the background, because that happened before a live stream last time. Let me close out of that. Let me see if that fixes it. Oh, weird. Okay, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Better? Worse? Fix. Let me just do a little. Okay. We'll see if that fixed it. I don't know if it was glitching for you guys or just me, but it was definitely like, now the color temperature is all weird. Oh, well. We're just going to roll with it. I just don't want it to glitch like that because it was like flashing really bad. So sorry, I meant to answer your question. So Doug says Calvados is really well-aged apple brandy from a small region of France. They're great. Cool, hope you enjoy that. Calvados can be a good value. It's made from pears, apples, or both, and can be quite good. Awesome, I cannot wait to give that a try. Tony said he's a 47-year-old barrel-aged Malort. Well, you know, if you age something long enough, it could get better. So just fixing my lighting now that all glitched out and I lost all my settings. Looks a little better. Oh well, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna keep going. Anyways, I love the nose of this Elijah Craig barrel proof. Now it's time to go for a taste. Cheers. Oh yeah, pie crust all the way. I got a little bit of the pie crust on that small batch, but this barrel strength, it's very, very much like a cinnamon, almost like a cinnamon. What do you call those? Graham crackers, like a cinnamon graham cracker on the palate. It's got like cinnamon sugar too, specifically the cinnamon sugar graham crackers. I forgot what they were called. Cinnamon grams. The one they had a B on them, I think, from our childhood. I don't know, but it's definitely that sweet cinnamon sugar with a bit of like a pie crust fresh baked pie note. It's a little bit of fruitiness there, honestly. Even though it's high proof and high age, the oak doesn't overtake the sweetness of this one. It's a very sweet store pick. They're not all this sweet, so I'll say everyone's a little bit different, which is why everything we're drinking from here on out is going to be a single barrel of the bourbon. So your mileage may vary. Your Elijah Craig barrel proof may not taste exactly like mine, but I've overall noticed them pretty consistent in the fact that they pack a punch. They are so much more interesting of a mouthfeel and just an overall better, how do you say this? An overall better palate experience than the small batch, just because it's so complex and so the flavors are so rich. I think that's kind of what's making this so good. And this is why Elijah Craig Barrel Proof has always been one of my top whiskeys of all time. So cheers to this. We'll see if they can get better with age, because we're going to go do a little bit of a dip in proof when we go through the rest of these on this flight. So this is going to be the highest proof thing we drink tonight. And it's going to be hard to stand up to that, even at older ages. We'll see, because sometimes an older whiskey at lower proof can be just as good as a higher proof whiskey that's younger. So we'll find out. Matthew Park said Honey Graham is the note on the Angel's Envy Rye. Oh, interesting. I mean, I think of that as if you're saying that, then it's not nearly as sweet as Angel's Envy Rye. To me, that's one of the sweetest whiskeys out there. Not my favorite because of how sweet it is, but it's a lot of people like it a lot. I like Angel's Envy Bourbon better than the Rye myself. A B, maybe not. Maybe I think of Honey Graham. I thought there was a B on the box. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, so that to me is fantastic. That's a fantastic single barrel pick. I can't believe they're just selling it for $52. I might have to buy a backup bottle or more. Listen, there was a point in like 2020 where I was hoarding every Elijah Craig barrel proof batch I could find. I was buying multiples. I mean, you can see remnants of my shelf. This used to be exclusively Elijah Craig barrel proof, and it could hold about 3 to 4 back. So it would be like 4 rows of 4. So I'd have like 16. Is that 16? Yeah. 16 Elijah Craig barrel proofs at any given time. And that's not counting my closet bottles and my cabinet bottles in my kitchen. So I was a little bit of a hoarder of Elijah Craig barrel proof. And it's still, whether you think that they've kind of fallen down a bit in quality now that they've removed the age statement or made it younger, that's fair. But to me, it's still one of my favorite bourbons available. And for the price, at least as of 2026, it's one of the better values in bourbon as well. Now, I did overpay a little bit. Like I said, for the C925, I paid like $85 for it because I just never saw it out here. So I had to order it from New York and get it shipped to Southern California. But I'm still just a huge fan of the lineup, and this single barrel is another great expression. So well done to K&L Wine and Spirits. You've knocked it out of the park yet again. Doug says, moving to ECBP C919, I probably have 20 partial bottles going back to 2019. So quite a library. I can join lots of the comparisons. That's awesome, man. I drink them too fast. Like I said, I don't keep them. I wish I did. I wish I had room to. I would love to go back to some of those older ones. Mike Meyer in the chat. Cheers to you, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. This is a fun flight. We got 2 more to go through, but I am enjoying it so far. Like I said, anything with Elijah Craig is going to be one of my favorite streams to do. So I'm glad that hopefully you're enjoying it too. All right. The day it arrives from New York is the day you see it in your store. Oh, of course. Well, the good thing is it just shipped to my store, so I'm not paying shipping. But still, it's taking forever. All right. Shall we move on to the newest addition to the Elijah Craig lineup? If you've been following recent bourbon news, you'll know that Elijah Craig just announced a 15-year-old single barrel. And I happen to get my hands on it. This is a single barrel expression, 15 years old. These are all bottled at the same proof. So these are not cask strength, unfortunately, but they are single barrel. So here's the info on this one right here. It is bottled on January 23rd, 2026. It is barrel number 60, and it is bottled at 108 proof, or 54% ABV. But it is a 15-year-old expression of Elijah Craig. So we'll see. Because for a while, they've had an 18-year-old version of this. So it looks exactly like this, but with a blue label. It says 18 on it. But we'll see. Is this 15 all it's cracked up to be? I'm very excited to find out. So let's go and get this poured. Like I said, this is a fresh crack. I have not tried this before tonight's stream. So you're getting a real honest first impression of Elijah Craig 15. Let's get it cracked. Nice. Nice barrel. Nice little pop there. Here's a little info card on it, if you can see that. Yeah, aged to perfection for 15 years. Rare release embodies the legacy of Elijah Craig. True to testament, time, tradition, and craftsmanship. Yeah, everything we already knew. But yeah, cool. Now, color-wise on this is really dark. So I'm really excited to see how this looks in the glass. By the way, I love this bottle. It's a gorgeous bottle. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the standard Elijah Craig bottles are really cool looking too, and they stand out on the shelves. But these single barrels of the 15 and the 18 just look super premium. I love the look of them. The cork has a little gold piece at the top. Fantastic product marketing here. Now, color-wise, yeah, this is dark. Wow, that is like a mahogany. That's not a color note I normally use. So let me show you just a comparison. Again, my left is the small batch. My right is the 15. So you can see a little bit different. That's a pretty drastic color difference there. Wow. All right, 15 years old. Wow. I'm so excited. As you can tell, I'm very excited for this one. Price-wise, like I said, at the top of the stream, I paid, let me pull up my receipt. I got receipts. I paid $140 for this. I see it going for like $160 at like Total Wine, but I paid $140 for a 15-year-old bourbon. You know, there's like the saying that a lot of people used to say, which I don't know if it's even still relevant now. It's like you pay $10 per year. So in that logic, like this is right on the price point that it should be. Now, with the prices going up with inflation and everything like that, that doesn't even hold true anymore. You see 8-year-old bourbon for $120. So a 15-year-old bourbon coming in at 108 proof, which I think is a pretty solid proof. I saw someone say in the chat, I think it was, oh yeah, Matthew. He said, right in my ABV wheelhouse. Yeah, I think 108 proof. It's not cast strength. Yes, I'm a little disappointed it's not cast strength, but man, 108 proof can pack a punch. And I'm really excited to see what it does. By the way, Brad in the chat. What's up, Brad? Sorry, I almost missed your comment. I was trying to find Matt. So good to see you, man. You came right in time for the new Elijah Craig 15. Very excited. Mike Meyer said the 15 is harder to find than the 18 or just newer. I've seen the 18 quite a bit, never the 15. So new. So the 15 is brand new as of this year. The 18 has been around for years. So the 18's kind of been sitting on shelves for a while. It has a mixed reputation, which I'll talk about when I get to it. The 15 just came out, so everyone's seeking it out. It's going to be harder to find. Some stores may not even have it yet. Like I said, I just bought this yesterday. Well, technically, I ordered it on Sunday, but I picked it up yesterday. So just showed up here in Southern California. Doug says single barrel could make it hit or miss. I'm a risk taker and will buy on site at retail. Matthew says the same with Parker's Heritage. Excellent bottle marketing. Oh, yeah, I love Parker's bottles. Yeah, actually, do I still have it? Oh, it might be behind one of those bottles. I do have my, I pulled my Parker's Heavy Char Bourbon out of my little storage closet because I was running low on bottles on my shelf. So I think actually that might be it right behind my Russell's 13 right there. But yeah, I love it. John R. Pass is pouring a Longmorn 18 cast strength K&L score from last month. Nice. Or last August, sorry. Yes, K&L just is always hitting it with those, not just their picks, but their selections. Incredible. All right. Let's go to nose the 15-year Elijah Craig. Ooh, okay. Okay as in oaky. Yeah. Whoa. Very different. We're in a whole different territory than the small batch and the barrel strength bourbon. This has a bit of a note that I've only associated with vintage bourbons. And I don't mean age. I mean bourbons from long ago. Like I'm thinking like some vintage like 80s and 90s bourbons I've tried. They have this note about them. It's almost like a copper kind of note. Not like pennies necessarily. Maybe copper's not the right word. It's a bit of like a I mean, I guess like think more of like a copper pipe than like a copper penny and like blood. Like not that at all, but a like bit of a minerality and a bit of a metallic quality, but a very deep, rich one. It's not like a tinny, like aluminum kind of note that I get on some Irish whiskey. Some cheaper Irish whiskey always has like an aluminum note. This isn't it. This is a big metal, big metal pipe. And I am here for big metal pipes. That's a lovely nose. That is incredible. I mean, that is probably one of the best noses on the bourbon I've had all year. Emily says, yay, happy Cliffy. Cliffy is very happy on nose alone. I mean, look at the color on that. Wow. The interesting thing is I'm no longer getting those traditional notes that I associate with a Heaven Hill bourbon. I'm not getting the pie crust. I'm not getting the honey or the cinnamon honey grams note. I'm getting sweetness, but it's much more of like a molasses, like a darker brown sugar sweetness. I mean, this nose is like a completely different product. If you didn't tell me this was a Heaven Hill product, I wouldn't guess it. Rich, like I said, a little bit of that like metallic thing, but like in a really, really good way. Extremely complex. Boy, I'm gonna enjoy this. Let's go ahead and go for a taste of the Elijah Craig 15. First impression. Cheers. Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny. We just brought up Parker's Heritage. This has that kind of premium quality that Parker's Heritage has. This doesn't just taste like they picked a random barrel that just happened to be 15 years old and just threw it in one of these fancy bottles. This feels carefully selected. I mean, that tastes like a limited edition release from Heaven Hill. And it's coming in at $140, which is, you know, kind of on par with some of their limited releases. Now, they have the ultra premium ones that go for like $300. That's a little bit different. But that is an exceptional bourbon. I mean, it's nothing like I expected. I didn't expect it to be so far off from the flavor profile of the barrel proof and the small batch, mainly because I've had some Elijah Craig barrel proofs that are 13 years old. So I'm like, what could 2 more years do? But I don't know whether it's the fact they proofed this down to 108 proof that kind of mellowed it out just a bit, or just the barrels they're picking for this are from such high places in the rickhouse to be that dark in color. It's almost like they're picking ones that would be normally way too high proof and like tannic and bitter at like cast strength. They're mellowing them out with some water, and they're really letting that bourbon just shine at the best way it can. It's not tannic. It's not over oaked at all. It's really unique on the palate. Yeah. Oaky, like I said, the oak is the prominent note here, but it's not bitter. It's not tannic. It's a little dry, not nearly as sweet as we were getting on the other ones, which, you know, if you like a sweeter bourbon, that might be a little bit of a turnoff for you. But what it makes up for, it makes up for that in the depth and character of that rich oakiness and just overall mouthfeel. I mean, this one takes you on a journey. Like I said, it kind of tingles all the parts of your tongue. Tip of the tongue, you get a little bit of that sweetness. Back of the tongue, you get that bitter. I don't want to say bitter, but you get that oaky, like intense oak on the back of the palate. But on the sides of the palate, you get like a little bit of like I would say almost like an umami. Like it's almost like making my like tongue, like, you know, like if you like eat a pickle, your mouth waters. It doesn't taste like a pickle, but it kind of is triggering that effect on me. That is a fantastic bourbon. This might be my new favorite Elijah Craig ever. I mean, holy moly. Let me say that again with the bottle. This might be my new favorite Elijah Craig ever. Because I'm going to maybe use this for a YouTube clip. You saw it here first, guys. Yeah, but that's incredible. That's fantastic. Love it. It matched my expectations. And I'll say that because I don't want to say it exceeded my expectations because I was really worried it was not going to do that great. 140 versus like a $51 single barrel, which I know is not the norm. Let's say up to $70 single barrel, 10-year-old. Is it worth almost double the cost or double the cost? I would say as a special occasion pour, yes. It's not something that I would want to drink from very often. I think it's, something that it takes some time. You definitely need to sit and think about it. It's not one that you just drink and go like the small batch. That's what I love this. And I even just said on my YouTube short, I think of the barrel proof as like a Friday night pour, like something you don't have to think too much about. You just enjoy. It's hot, it's good, and you're always going to go for it. So this 15 is not that. This 15 is a thinker. But that proof, the fact that they release this at 108 proof is a huge win because, as we'll see, is this next one. They released the 18-year-old version at a lower proof. So let me go to the 18-year version on the website. The 18-year version comes in at 90 proof. So it's lower proof than the small batch. Why they did that? Beats me. But I'll share the picture. So I don't have a bottle of this. I actually just have a sample of this one. But let me share my screen real quick. Let's see. I haven't done this in a minute. So all right, there we go. Let me share my screen. So this is the 18-year single barrel. Again, same bottle as the 15-year, but a blue label. This one is it's a little controversial. So it comes in, these are like tasting notes, 90 proof versus the 94 of the small batch. Still a single barrel. So it's still up there in terms of, limited availability. Pricing, I did a quick little look at, Total Wine, which I, of course, accidentally closed. Actually, let me look at K&L. I think K&L just released one. Craig 18. So the 18-year-old comes in at $170. That's the price I'm seeing it for locally. $170, 18-year-old single barrel, 90 proof Elijah Craig. This one's been around for a while, at least for 10 years. It's been out for at least 10 years. So it's not a new release. But what is interesting is to see how does it compare to the new 15-year-old Elijah Craig. Is it better to get older, or is the younger whiskey actually the best buy? We're about to find out. Let's go ahead and pour. This is a sample I've had for a little bit of a while. I've been waiting for a reason to drink it. Now seems like a good reason. Elijah Craig 18. I don't know who I got this from. I've had this for at least a couple years. And you can see I've drank some of it for a previous stream. But we're going to drink more of it now because this is where it really counts. Actually, I'm going to kill that sample. I'm going to kill it. This is the 18-year Elijah Craig. First thing I'll notice, again, these are all single barrels. I saw Tony's comment a minute ago. I'm excited to taste mine on a renewed palate. Yours looks a lot darker than mine, though. Interesting to point out because my 18-year-old, even though it's 3 years older than my 15-year-old, a little bit lower proof, 90 proof, so much lighter in color. Again, I'll show you the comparison. I know this isn't like scientific at all, but on my left is the 15-year and on my right is the 18-year, or on vice versa for you. That 18-year is significantly lighter than both the barrel proof and the 15-year. Again, 90 proof. There's more water in it, so it makes a little bit of sense there. But if you're looking at color, you wouldn't necessarily think that this 18 is as special as it is. But we're not just looking at color, because again, $170 up there. Relatively good price for an 18-year-old bourbon. Again, I give them credit to that. The problem is this one just kind of, it has mixed reviews. I've heard that these single barrels are all over the place. Some are good, some are even great, and others are just like misses. Like they're complete misses, they're off flavor profile, they're just not good. I don't know about this one. Again, this is just a random single barrel that was given to me from a friend. We're going to see if I like it better than the 15. Because usually, you think older is better. Not always the case with bourbon. Doug says tannins, oakiness, and scarcity are great reasons to proof it down. That's very true, particularly that last one, to save money. Doug says my EC18 was bottled in 2022, and the 90 proof is holding down the bitterness. Nice. Okay. That's a good point. They could have used that to kind of bring it down. That's kind of what I was saying about the 15, right? The 15, I was thinking that it might be proofed down because at cast strength, it would just be too harsh. So that's a good point. It's a good benefit there. I will say the legs on this are really great. They're really like, of all of them, actually, they're definitely making an appearance. Let's give the 18-year a nose. Okay. In the similar realm of the 15, however, this is the kind of the detriment of the proof. At 108 proof in 15 years, this thing was bursting out the glass with an amazing nose. I mean, I'll go back to it. I mean, delicious. So good. The 18 is a little more subdued. Similar note, I think the oak has definitely overtaken anything else. It does smell a little bit like a bitter tannic oak, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, like as Doug just said, they could have helped that with the water and made it taste better. But on the nose, it's overwhelmingly oak, almost like cedar chest. Like it's like that rich of a just wood. It's all wood on the nose. It's not a bad nose by any means. I mean, it's definitely you had to know what you signed up for getting an 18-year-old bourbon. But it's pretty mellow and it's pretty singular note. But again, that's just the nose. We're gonna go for a taste. Let's try the 18-year-old Elijah Craig single barrel bourbon. Cheers. I mean, it also kind of has that little bit of like that limited kind of quality to it. It tastes like you don't think you're drinking low end bourbon here. You definitely can tell that this is something special. But caveat here, it's very much obviously that this is lower proof. I mean, that 90 proof, it might as well be 80 proof in terms of like what I'm experiencing. It's not, hot at all, which is, fine. They don't all have to be hot. It feels like the water tempered it down just a little bit too much. What I would have loved to see, and maybe they'll think about this in the future, I would love to see that 18-year be higher proof, closer to what they did for the 15-year, because flavor-wise, it's good. It's a good flavor. It's a little simplistic compared to the 15. I think the 15 still has a lot of those sweeter, like those brighter notes are still there. They're not completely gone. The 18, I feel like the oak is completely overtaking it, and which could be fine. That could be fine. It's not necessarily dry. The 15 almost was a little bit drier, but I think it was more complex because it was higher proof and I was getting those more complex notes. The 18-year to me, while it's a very oaky note, it's hard to get much beyond that when it's so low proof. If anything, beyond oak, I'm getting a little bit of like a what do you call those? Those like wafer crackers? Like they're not. They used to have them in like strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. They're just like the really cheap, multi-layer like nougat kind of. Were they like nougat? I guess I don't know what you would call those. They're just like those like classic 1950s wafer crackers. They're very crumbly. You bit into it, and like the flakes from it crumble. They have like cream inside. What are those just called? Wafer candies. Anyways, there's a little bit of that note. So there is a little bit of sweetness. It's not a fresh baked note. It's very much like a, processed. I don't say processed. That sounds bad. Very much like a confectionery, like, junk food note, I guess I'll say. Now get that wood in your mouth, because it's legal. That's true. I mean, they're all legal because anything can be legal as a bourbon as long as it's over 3 years old. But I know what you mean. Matthew says my EC18 has a long finish, even at 90 proof. Doug says at 18 years, the distillate is receding and the cask is standing up and flexing. Maybe 15 is the sweet spot for age here. I'm leaning that way too, Doug. I mean, I don't think this 18 is bad at all. I think, like I said, some people said they had some really bad single barrels of it. I don't think this is a bad barrel at all. I just think there's more complexity there when you have it higher proof of the 15. Or, again, it may not even be the proof. It may just be that the 15 is the sweet spot, like you're saying. But it's not apples to apples, right? The 18 is only 90 proof. So I can't really say if it's the age or if it's the proof that's affecting it. The 18 does have a long finish. I think both of you said the finish is nice. The finish is nice on this 18. Again, I think it's a great bourbon. I just think it's a little lackluster compared to the new 15. I think the 15 is more complex. It hits more flavor profiles. Let me take one last sip of the 18, but yeah, the 18, I mean, it's a good flavor. It's just a one-note flavor. It's very one-note, not complex. Again, the finish is long. It's a great finish. It ends with a little bit of like a bitter, dark chocolate kind of thing. I like it. I'm not giving scores, but I mean, I guess I could give scores. I'll give my ranking first. Let me rank these in terms of my favorite to least favorite. That'll be good. All right. Tony, I saw your comment, but I'm not going to read it. Matthew said, maybe why many people say they like the Calumet 15 or Sam Houston 15. Maybe that's another that's another. I think that's Barton, right? Yeah, it's Barton. Bourbon lover, cheers to you. Thanks for stopping in. I'm going to rank these in terms of my favorite to least favorite. My favorite of the night, surprise, surprise, goes to the newest addition to the Elijah Craig lineup, Elijah Craig 15. To me, for $140, I would buy another one. Now, not to say they're all going to be good. This is a single barrel, but I think this drinks like a $140 bourbon. It actually drinks better than $140 bourbon. I've seen it go on secondary for like $200 to $300. I don't know if I would pay full on $300 for it, but like $140 was a good price. Is all I got to say. If you see this for retail, anything below $200, grab it, especially if you're an Elijah Craig fan. It's my absolute favorite. Give it a recommendation. Probably one of my top whiskeys of 2026. We'll find out. Again, subscribe and come back when I do that list. I'll do a whiskey awards at the end of the year where I name my favorite whiskeys. But this is a good chance of making it in there. My second place whiskey of the night actually goes to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, this, like I said, this is a single barrel. It's a store pick. But at 10 years old, $50 to $60. I know that's not always the price, but that's what I paid for this one. It's an absolute steal. No, it doesn't have the age and the complexity of the 15, but it has the proof that kind of, I don't want to say emulates it, but it kind of, you can pull out more. Okay, I think this is what I've been trying to say all along. At higher proof, you can pull out more flavors, even if the whiskey itself isn't as nuanced or old. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like a higher proof, younger bourbon could read as more complex than a low proof, older bourbon. That's kind of what I'm getting here. That's the overall consensus I'm getting here, because I think this Elijah Craig 10-year is almost as complex as the 15. Do I like it as much as the 15? No, not at all. But I think it's a fantastic buy for your money. Yeah, 120 proof. I love it. It's hot, but I love it. My third place tonight goes to the Elijah Craig 18. I'm showing you an empty bottle because I finished it. It's a fantastic bourbon. It's expensive, $170. So it's on par with the pricing of the 15-year, but you're getting a 90 proof versus a 108 proof. And you're getting the fact that this has been around for like 10 years and people have mixed opinions on it. So far, I've not heard anything bad about the 15 years yet. Now, there probably are some off barrels, but so far I've been hearing that they've done a really good job of picking the barrels for the 15. So if you walk into the store tomorrow and you see an 18 for 170 and a 15 for 140, I personally say buy the 15. It's new. It's hard to find because it's new. The 18 kind of sits, it doesn't sit, I don't want to say like sits all the time, but it at least sits in my area. Like right now, my store has across like their full spread of all their stores, they have over 60 bottles of it available, like readily available. The 15, I think, is sold out. I think that's sold out as soon as it went live. Let me just look. 15. Yeah, they're sold out of the 15. 15's gone. So I really like it, but to me, it's third place tonight. And last place, no fault of its own. It's being compared against giants. It's just a baby. It's just a baby. Elijah Craig small batch, $23, straight bourbon whiskey, 8 to 12 years old, probably a little younger, honestly. Nothing to complain about, but I mean, when you're comparing it to its big brothers, it's a pretty big difference. Now, I don't complain about this. I'll sip this any day, every day. It's just a good, solid house bourbon. But once you get up there in proof, once you get up there in age, and once you get up there in price, it makes all the difference. So that does it for tonight's live stream. I did see a comment from Wayne. He said, I was happy for the 15, knowing we weren't getting an A126. Are we not getting? That's news to me. Are we not getting an A126? I guess we wouldn't, right? It would have already been out. That's different. That's not happened, right? They've never missed a batch of the bourbon. Interesting. Now I need to do some research. I didn't even think about that. Sorry. 15 reminds me of a good old 12-year-old ECBP we used to get. Don't water our whiskey. I didn't even think about the fact that A126 was never announced. Wow. Okay. Well, if you can't get that, definitely get this because it's worth every penny. So that does it for tonight's live stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you can come back after you've tried the 15. If you haven't had it yet, come back and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of it, and let you know. Do you have an 18 that's amazing? Do you have an 18 that's just kind of meh? I want to hear your experience as well. So again, if you're watching this live, watching it in the future, near future, far future, whenever you're watching this, you could be watching this in 3026. I don't think the internet will be a thing anymore, but might be. This is going to be a vintage bourbon review. All right. Want to do a quick shout out to the Byte Club, which is my membership program. You can join for as little as $2 a month and support the channel. Those people get access to early episodes of my podcast, which just came out this morning, by the way. I have a review of the Redwood Empire Haystack Needle. Check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. The Byte Club got it first. So if you want to get in on that, check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for following me and liking on all the social platforms. Like I said, I've been building those out. I've been uploading shorts. If you like those, feel free to just comment. You see it pop up, you see my face, just say hi. Those just help the algorithm a little bit as well. But I'll continue to do it, and I will continue to look forward to more Elijah Craig, more live streams. My birthday is next Thursday night. I don't know for sure if I'll be live because it depends if I do a last-minute trip somewhere. But if I do go live, it's going to be a hell of a time because it's my birthday. And we go hard on Cliffy's birthday. So stick around, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. And I may or may not see you next week. But if I miss my birthday, we'll do a belated birthday stream. It's still going to be fun. You don't want to miss it. All right. Cheers, y'all. See y'all next week or the week after. And until then, this has been Bourbon Bytes, a whiskey channel with a gaming twist. Cheers, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a great weekend.